Ryan Smith here for another edition of the UMO Coaches Show, joined today by head men's soccer coach Sean Brennan. And Coach, got a lot of stuff going on here within the last week and this week, obviously highlighted by Sebastian Loeb getting Division II Player of the Week. What did that mean for you? I mean, last time we talked, we had won the Conference Player of the Week, and then obviously this is a much greater honor. What did that mean for the team and for you as a coach?
Oh, it's a tremendous honor. It's one of the highest honors you can get in a week, and I think it was only the 12th person student athlete here at Mount Olive history to get that award. It's awesome. Anytime we can get exposure regionally, nationally, or even in the league, it's great. But what an honor for Sebastian to have, and it says a lot about the team. Those are individual awards, but you have to have a good team around those players in order for those guys to get those awards. So it was great news.
Yeah, I think that's something that can be said to that too, is that you can always have, whether you have a great keeper, a great defensive line, all of those players all have to play as a team together, because there's no individuals in soccer, and especially when you had 11 guys on the pitch, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult. Right. So great honor for him. Obviously, didn't get the result you wanted against Belmont Abbey, a 4-1 loss. What did you take away from that game?
Yeah, well, obviously we have some issues defensively, not personnel, but just some organizational issues. We've given up a lot of goals the last couple games, and it was a disappointing result. Belmont Abbey is a very much improved team. I was actually very impressed with them. They won again this weekend, so they're on a roll. But yeah, we had to take this weekend that we had off and work a lot of defensive stuff, a lot of organizational fixes that we had to change. But we had a good weekend, 3 days of training while everybody else was playing games, and so hopefully we can move forward and grow from last experience. And
you'll kind of get to put that into test today, going against Shaw. Obviously, the first time these two teams have ever met. It's first year of Shaw soccer as well. What have you seen out of the Bears? Obviously, it's kind of hard to get much of a test of a team within their first year, but they do have a couple of wins on the season. So what have you seen from the Bears that you guys are going to try to look to exploit this afternoon?
Yeah, it's a dangerous game because as players we can look at it and say, oh, it's a first-year program, no problem. They'll need time. It'll be easy, and that's not the case. I mean, they've gotten results already, and they've kept a lot of games close in Division II regional opponents. So we're going to have to come out right away from the start and try and dictate the match. Get on the ball early and often, and try and make them play into our style of play. If we do that, we'll be fine. But if we leave them around in the game, it's going to be a long night for us. So we've got to be extra cautious tonight.
And you guys have a little bit of an interesting week because you go from home, away, home, and kind of looking forward to Wednesday. It's a match that's always highlighted on the schedule. It's Barton. It's a rivalry. This year, obviously, traveling to Wilson. What are you expecting out of the Bulldogs on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's a typical scratch and fight kind of situation. It's a rivalry, and last year was fierce as well. With we were hanging on for dear life at the end to hold on to that result, and it'll be much of the same. We're getting into October now, so we're both trying to climb the table in Conference Carolinas play. It'll be a crucial 3 points. So it'll be a tough one. It'll be, they played Saturday as well, so they'll have 2 days extra rest. So it's not going to be easy.
And something that makes it even tougher, and we talked about home, away, home. Then we come back to Ammon Field and play on Saturday. I want to focus more, not necessarily on the match, but the stamina that the players have to have, and how difficult is that for you as a coach to sit there and play 3 games in a week? One, that's not really that common, and 2, you're only getting a few days rest in between each one of those. So how, as a coach, do you prepare the guys for the game on Saturday?
Yeah, it's tough because, again, North Greenville will not play all week, so they'll have 7 days rest on our 1. So it's not easy. Management of substitutions this week through the next 2 games will be crucial. We've been playing 17, 18 guys a match, which is barely unheard of in Division II soccer. We're going to have to use that depth a lot this week in order to try and keep our guys fresh. And there's a lot of pressure on staff this week too. Recovery is key. So our athletic training staff will they've got a lot of pressure on them to try and get the soreness out as quick as possible. Try to get the players recovered as quick as they can and get them as close to 100% as possible. So it's a management week.
Right.
You've got to focus on getting results, but then your next focus immediately is managing and recovery.
So when you get to a series like this, when you've got 3 games in a week, do try to sometimes switch up who your starters are going to be to kind of try to help balance that, or is it just you stick to the same starters and you really just have to work on the substitution part of it?
Yeah, you can't ignore the fact that you got to win games. So first and foremost, you got to start the best players that you can,
right.
And that changes week to week. And so you got to start the best group every single time. You try to manage it with substitution. More of the management is on the off days. When we have time off, what are we doing? There will not be a lot of practice this week. There'll be
right.
a lot of ice baths, a lot of foam rolling and band work to try and get the lactic acid out of the system as much as we can of the players. But yeah, then you do rely on depth, and substitutions might come quicker. Certain guys might play more that had not seen as many minutes. So there's a lot of factors involved, but first and foremost, we got to win.
Well, obviously, hoping for 3 good decisions this week, and I guess when we talk to you next week, we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll have 3 games, so this past week really only had 1, and then I think we'll have a lot to talk about next week. So I wish you the best of luck this week.
Thank you.
For head coach Sean Brennan, I'm Ryan Smith for another edition of the UMO Coaches Show.
Exceptional degrees at an exceptional value. That's transforming education. The University of Mount Olive, transforming education, transforming lives. Learn more at umo.edu. That's umo.edu.